been here for 2 years, but, I've graduated. Now I got this opportunity to move to China, teach at this university. It's been something I always wanted to do. I feel kind of crazy coming to you because, where I am in the company now and, what we're doing, and I'm going to be gone. But I got to tell you, I can't just roll out 2 weeks notice, whatever. And he's like, yo, as much as it hurts to see you go, I got to support, your dreams. Who am I to tell you, you can't go to China because I want you to work here? I went for my dreams and leaving my job to start here, start my business. Go do what you feel is right for you. So.
All right. I want to ask you about China, but I cannot do it because I know we're wrapping up. But I do want to know, when you get to China, at what point did you know, at what point did you know, because you were there when you first originally went, how long were you there for one stint?
When I first went to China, I bought a one-way ticket. I did not come home for a year.
Okay, that's great. All right, so at what point, obviously when you buy a one-way ticket, I mean, that says a lot in itself, but
yes, it was weird. It was weird buying a one-way ticket to China, but go ahead. What point?
At what point did you know that this was a good decision?
I knew that before I went. As I said, and as you said, it's not really about anybody else's beliefs or, opinions. You want to do what you want to do. And if you have a legitimate plan, that makes it even better. So, hey, what's stopping me?
Damn. You knew before you went.
Yeah.
Damn.
Everybody always says, it's such a good opportunity to travel and do this and do that. Most of those people saying don't do it. So if you're going to hear after the fact that it was good, I mean, I knew before the fact it was good. Other people had done it. It was good for them. Now, those other people, unfortunate for me, I didn't know them. But, there's millions of foreigners living and working in China. I wasn't the only one. If anything, I was the oddball out. The friends that I had made, they weren't coming back home after a year. They moved there with the intent to live there, and make money there. So we can definitely get into that next time, about just making money in China. But yeah, man, it was a good decision for me from the time I said yes.
This is my last question, and then we're going to get up out of here. And then our next episode, we're going to start off talking about China. I want to know from when you got off the plane. But my last question is, we try to change the narrative here on this podcast about people's beliefs on certain things. Now, I went to, what is that? I spent about a day in Hong Kong. Nothing to really talk about when I was gone to Thailand for a few weeks. But there's this big controversy, and I've never been to China, so I figure I'd ask you so you could share with everybody else. Chinese food here in America, when we go to the Chinese food store, and don't laugh at me, but I know, but I got to hear it from you. So is the Chinese food that we get here in America the same as the Chinese food that you actually eat in China? And if so, what are the differences?
For the most part, no. And I think everybody knew that already. Number one, I lived in China for a year and have gone back multiple times since. While in China, I have never seen a fortune cookie. So that being number one.
Now that I didn't know. That I definitely did not know.
So aside from that, there's a few dishes on any Chinese, hood spots included. There's
General
a few
Tao,
dishes.
chicken and broccoli.
So both of those are the nose. In the history of China, there was never a General Tso.
What?
I would even venture to say I've been studying now and speaking Chinese since I first went, which is now 12 years. I have never come across the word "so" the way that they spell it in, on Chinese menus. But yeah, just as I'll give you a couple items that may be very close to Chinese meals. Lo mein, the noodles, like a shrimp lo mein or, beef lo mein, whatever. There's a dish on most menus called Mabo tofu, M-A-P-O or M-A-B-O tofu. A lot of people don't get it because they don't eat tofu, but that's on a lot of Chinese menus, and that's the exact dish in China. And then another one I would say very similar is, what do they call it? Pepper steak. A lot of Chinese restaurants have something called pepper steak. Pepper steak is very similar to the dish that they say is foreigners' favorite dish in China, which is called tie bai meal roll. And it's basically sizzling beef on a hot skillet. That's what it literally translates to. And
what about an egg roll?
No. I never really didn't see an egg roll.
Are you serious?
There's a lot of dumplings. Now maybe I'll say this. Maybe in southern China they have egg rolls. I traveled to a lot of places in China, but I did not go to Hong Kong. I did not go to other places in like Southeast China where a lot of the factories and people know about. I did go to an island in way South China, more south than Hong Kong. So I didn't see egg rolls. I'm not going to say egg rolls don't exist in China, but I didn't see them.
What about wonton?
I know for wonton soup, certainly. That is almost the exact same. The wonton, oh man, that was an interesting experience. The first time I really got into really seeing restaurants where people sell wontons and other types of dumplings. These wontons that they have in China, the wonton soup there, it's called huan tuan. Huan tuan tang is wonton soup when you order it in China. But these wontons in China are a lot smaller. They're like the size of your fingernail. And that's about like how much meat is in it. And then the rest is like the real flimsy noodle part that they wrap it in. But when you walk past the restaurant, you see thousands of these little tiny little wontons. And it just be like 3 people working in there. And you're like, what? What? They just be stacked and stacked and stacked, and they be in the back. It is. There's a lot of things about China a lot of stories I could tell that will really be unbelievable. And we could. I read a lot about Marco Polo. He was, one of the first people everybody knows that went to China. When he came back with all his stories and books, people did not believe him. After I came back from China and telling the stories that I told, I understood why people didn't believe Marco Polo. Because you tell these stories and there is no similarity to most of the stories that you tell with China and America. It's crazy.
Okay. I know I had the last question, but I have to ask this too. So, do they eat with chopsticks out there mainly?
Definitely.
Are you nice
Definitely
with your chopsticks?
I am nice. You
Okay.
have to eat with chopsticks. If you come to China and you can't use chopsticks, please bring your own forks. You heard it here first. You will not survive because you will not find a fork unless you only eat at Western restaurants.
Ah, okay. And do you use the one with the? I know how I started. Like, I'm pretty good. I'm probably not as good as you with chopsticks now. But do you? When I first started with chopsticks, I started out like I used to make them do the rubber and then put the paper in between. So it's kind of like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You won't see that in China.
So you got to really just use your chopsticks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sweet. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the great Tyree Powell. This is episode number 2. I encourage you guys, whether you're young or you're old, you definitely need to tune in. Check out the first episode. This is the second episode. We got 3 more to go. We're going to tell Tyree's true story. You guys know who he is, but make sure that you follow him on Instagram. His Instagram name is TAI.RUI. Again, his Instagram name is TAI.RUI. And you already know, you can follow me at Billionaire Brown Online. This has been another Billionaire Brown Experience. Until next time, continue to be.